replacement.
Well,
If they ever get.
I say
replaced.
scratch that.
For new
for-
employees, that's a probationary period that.
I get that,
That's
but,
typical there now, is that position?
but we come, later we worry about that.
Employees, if you're gonna put them in that position, then that would be a new appointment, so that, the 90-day, I think, would have term
This says from the initial hire date, not from the date of appointment,
Exactly.
for that position.
for employment with Williamson County.
Well, the whole idea
It has
behind
nothing
the
to do
thing
with
was, like, if Kelly left to go to another job somewhere and we'd get a replacement for Kelly. That's where the 90 day, that was the
Well,
intent.
but that's a different contract with that other person. So why do we need in here now? It's just gibberish stuff we don't need.
My initial hire date would be 2/7/2012.
Right.
Okay, so what, again,
So-
It's in there
that
because
was-
I was working from a template.
Yeah.
well, I'm gonna recommend it, scratch it. It doesn't make, if a new person, if you leave and Billy Bob comes along, then we put it in Billy Bob's. You've been here, how long have you been here? 79 years?
Yeah.
So, okay, so that's my, I don't remember what y'all do. Okay, so, also, on your time off, there's some stuff in here that in past Terry did the same vacation, same everything as the union people. You're on the same page. Okay, so in here it says we go by the handbook. So is the handbook different? Because we're going by past practice. And I'm just asking a question. I don't know.
Yeah, I believe it's quite different.
Okay, well, then we need to keep it like we have with Terry. So it says we receive the same benefits, leave in accordance with existing Williamson County handbook. If the handbook is different, and we've been treating Terry different, then this is a moot point here.
And to my knowledge, Terry's always received what we
He
received
has.
through the union.
Yeah.
The county board passed an ordinance several years ago that said that if you're an appointed official, elected, that's over people that are unionized, you get the same benefits in the union and any other benefits that the county board so see fit to give.
If I follow the handbook, I would be
So
having time
there is a,
taken away that I heard.
typically, yes, if you have union
Yeah.
underneath you, you get those same benefits.
Well, that's why I asked, but I don't know what the handbook says. I know what we did, we try to do per past practice, so we try to live off of, so that part, and I'm just reading off the old one, I have looked at the new one, so that part, to me, is moot. I mean, this is my take, we go vote however you want to vote, but the duties, good lord, I mean,
Well, they can do their duties.
I know, but why? Why do, explain why we need duties.
Okay, because whenever we get somebody, let's just say, now I'm just going off the EMA one. And if Kelly was to leave and bring somebody else, and you know everything, what their duties are as far as the EMA is
Okay,
concerned?
but we're talking about when we bring somebody else, and let's cross that bridge. Why do we need these? What if some other pandemic comes in, it's not on here, and say, you can't be doing that? I say, it's all that, on both of them, that's my opinion, and you vote for it? And that's three pages worth, I mean, it's too, I don't know, anyway,
You came up with the list of duties, correct?
I'd ask for the duties. Now Celeste is not good.
Yeah, right, just a list of duties that you can come up with that basically describe your job.
Okay, well, I'm,
So if we get someone new in, that's what we can say, this is
Yeah, I have to
basically,
have that anyway for my grants.
right.
so you got that regardless on your
It's in my
computer
grants.
or something?
Yeah, I have to have it in my grants. I have to turn it in on my.
This isn't
computer
anything
grant.
that we've come up with on our own.
No, I get that, but it's been asked me, but I don't.
Again, I mean, it's in my grants, so it wasn't anything.
So you got that on the computer, if somebody new comes in, you're gonna say, it's what all I do.
No, you have to have it in your grant for your EPG grant, or to say accredited every year.
I'm just
To the
saying,
county.
duties change. They
Yeah, that's
they
true.
change rapidly, and I don't wanna, I got you, or, just that, I say pitch it, but that's just my, the open. Terminate, I think that's pretty much the main things that I just, y'all can hammer away if you like it, leave it in there, if not, that's just my take on it. The 90 days, like I said, probation is, to me, is, there's no reason to put the language in there. And whatever else I said there. The old part about your handbook versus what Terry's been getting, that's not even,
What are we talking about on
I'm
this?
sorry, at the
At the bottom.
Is it,
So
so that's not accurate.
Orange County next employee handbook.
He's saying it would give him less than what Terry had.
Yeah, I
So-
would lose, what I've already earned
Okay.
during my tenure if I was to follow
Okay.
the county, just because that, being in 318,
Okay,
the benefits go along with it.
okay.
So I didn't know the handbook was different. Yeah, I didn't. Okay. I was gonna make sure you're getting exactly what Terry got.
We actually earned.
Well, that's our intent. That was.
That's why we want you to talk it through, because we can't all talk at the same time, so.
Nothing shady about this whole thing at all. The whole intent of the contract was to give both of you a little bit of security, job security. And where you're at now. So that was the intent.
Sure.
Okay, so, early termination standard, terminal for cause standard. I mean, it's pretty, it could be 2 pages, actually, I mean. That's my thing, anybody else got, say whatever. And again, I don't care how you vote on, I'll vote for it regardless of how it goes, that's just, I think a lot of it's unnecessary.
I mean, Ron, you got any input on that?
Well, with Kelly, the duties, that's somewhat of a sliding scale. And I like the shorter one that talk about the duties because it literally says, the Emergency Management Agency Director for Williamson County shall perform the duties of such position which are required by the job description, county ordinances and directives of the county board, as well as those duties consistent with custom and practice. And I think for an employment contract, that is duty. The job description, I think that is here, is very good, but I don't think, because it's a sliding scale. It really is. I think this needs to be in writing. Like Kelly said, that's what she uses for guidance with the grants that she does. But that's different than having it incorporated here, because if you're just going by what this is, it's always, you have to be somewhat flexible in my mind, because if you're dealing with disasters, there's no way you can cover everything.
Okay, well, let me say something on that. For example, and I understand what you're saying, I understand what you're both saying. There's a lot of things you can't pinpoint down on any one particular job. When you're talking about, for example, work with and facilitate emergency preparedness with local responders and area hospitals. Okay, that would be everything, whatever that is required as part of the job. So in other words, you could, under that, you could sub-list all the different things under working with the local responders for the emergency preparedness. You can't list them all. You can't
That, what you just said pretty well wraps it all
and
up.
so
That's
that's
3
what
sentences.
that's what I'm saying. So we asked Kelly if she would come up with it, and this is the list that she's come up with. And so it's not any of us that brought this down. So, but what I'm saying is, it is a broad reach, and you can't get real specific sometimes, and that's not what we're after. We're just after basically what your job duties are.
Well, the one, the generic one, or whatever that read over, didn't have any, all that stuff. I mean, this was asked for, and she presented it.
Now, all I did was copy and paste what I had to turn into my
Yeah.
email.
Your job, you can do something today that's
Whether you
totally never
want to
been done
keep it in
before.
there or not, it's your discretion.
And
I just have to list it,
Yeah, but Ron's right,
just
Brent's
like a
right. It
statement
is
of
a
work. I
sliding
have to
scale,
have a
but I
statement
think,
of work in
I
every
think the
day.
sliding scale is covered in here, you know.
what you
gotta
said a
do
while
what you
ago,
gotta
the
do.
first, what you 3 lines, it pretty much says it all. Working with, would you read that out? Working with the,
But yeah, on the bottom of page 3.
to me, that says it all. So I just think you got 3 pages of just gibberish stuff that I've never seen in contract. I mean,
Well, I think
I've never seen one like
if you're
this.
gonna get, well, I'll put it this way. If you're gonna go pursue a contract with security, I think you do need some job descriptions. If you're not interested in pursuing a contract, you're not interested in pursuing.
Well, a job has, yours is like 4 sentences or 5 sentences, okay? I mean, you're secure because if you don't do anything wrong, you get fired, you got a lawsuit.
My duties are statutory,
Well, I think,
what my duties are, and I can be, when I get on my appointment, they can do malfeasance and non-feasance of office.
do you get sworn in by anybody or not? Probably not. Do you
Yeah,
get
I
sworn?
have a credit, I have an appointment.
Is state, what is it, state?
You guys appointed me.
We appoint, she's not sworn in.
Yeah, she's not sworn in.
Sworn at.
I have,
No,
I
that's
have to
us.
have an appointment because it's.
I have an
it's a-
appointment certificate, election or appointment certificate, 48 months.
I have to have an appointment from the state though. You guys had to appoint me because I have to have it to turn into the state.
Okay.
But I have to take an oath of office, usually do my from the judge.
Yeah, I just, again, I go for it, I want it done and over with, but I mean, but there's a lot of stuff here just, to me, just really is just a bunch of gibberish stuff that doesn't amount to diddly squat, but
I think,
the less the better to me.
well, in any, a lot of companies, when they hire people, they have job descriptions written down so that you can always refer back to them if there's a problem or issue anyway. A lot of this is, universal, you can't really pinpoint, like what we just said, emergency preparedness. Well, that's a big encompassing, all-encompassing term. So this is just something,
Okay, Celeste is not, has anybody talked to her?
I have.
I have
I've
not
talked with her, and she would be very interested in having one. She just didn't like for her, because she's doing grant writing. It's something very simple would be specific enough for that, because she told me literally that with her position, she's a grant writer. She assists with everybody in the county. So she assists other municipalities, townships, water districts. There's a lot of different schools, individuals, businesses looking for different things. And she said that, she really wasn't sure how to write up the duties, because she does all of these things. And what Rhett had originally proposed, she felt was more than adequate. And, but she wasn't going to, she said, there's no way I can sit down and make a list that covers everything that I do. And she said, then the state or the federal government will come out with new things. And,
You're hitting what I'm saying right now.
well, that's.
Yeah, mine changes all the time.
But that's totally different. This would be pretty much like a living document, and it would change. It would change. If the state comes out with another mandate, we're always required to follow a mandate. I mean,
well, it's not,
Even
Mine
there's no
changes
way-
every year.
and that's what hers, they come out with the COVID thing. There's different grants now available for different businesses and people through the Cures Act. And it's not mandated, it's just that those are options that are available. And, back in February, those didn't exist. They just have come about since March and on.
So what did she say?
She would like to-
Bottom line, what
She would like to have one, but
She's
she told me
100%.
point blank, she wasn't going to sit down and make a list that's going to change, has the potential to change, because she felt that was dangerous. If there was somebody that was upset with her for some reason, that they didn't think that she was doing her job properly, and under some new guidelines that have just come out. And she thought point blank that what Rhett originally did was encompassed everything, and it wasn't being, as she said, nitpicky specific was how she said it.
She has a very good point.
Huh?
She has a very good point.
Well, okay, well, now, I haven't heard of it, so I'm gonna go back to what I said. It doesn't matter what we do, I want both these done if we can to get them off the agenda, okay? So I am not a fan of the 90-day under these two individuals.
No,
Could you work here
that
forever?
wasn't the intent.
Okay, but for that, so I say, I
That's
want,
for the, if they are relieved.
we'll worry about that when they leave. I'm just saying, for these two, we're talking about their contract. 90 days of hire date, it's a moot point, it means nothing. Stop at the 2024, the first two sentences, stop there. The part about your handbook deal, you just brought up, Kevin, which I did not know, that's why I asked you that. So that doesn't need to be in there. And as far as I'm concerned, pitch the duties and vote on it. But that's my take. I mean, you guys can, but I will vote any way you all want to. I don't understand why all this stuff's in here, but, so. Take it from there.
Well, what do you guys want to do with this? You want to, once again, table it, further discussion?
I don't want to favor it, but I was going on contingent upon something that needs to be done.
Changes, or?
And then Kevin, real quick, before we get, when is he done?
Yeah, you know,
Terry's done the 29th.
28th?
yeah,
28th. 28th.
Friday 20th is his last day,
Yeah.
so, you know, we're looking at 3 weeks just about. And it'd be nice to have this done,
Well-
so where there's no lapse, you know, I've already been
Well,
doing
this-
this mid-June
my-
on my own.
Well, my take on this whole thing wouldn't take effect until, like I said, December 1, start of the fiscal year. Because as of right now, there's no reason to start this, and right now, I mean, we'll just appoint whoever, you as the new, person, and then starting fiscal year, December 1, that's when this would take effect.
Can I make a
I
suggestion?
I look at it a little differently than that. I think what we should do is we should go ahead and be 4 years and some months. So if we did it today, it would literally be starting beginning August the 11th, or whatever the day is, August 29th
Yeah,
would be technically the right day for Kevin. I think we should have where it just says for salary, benefits, and leave, the parties shall agree that the animal control supervisor's base salary. I think we should be specific in what the hourly rate is that we would have him at.
my situation is a little unique because of the time, you know.
I understand.
With Terry leaving, retiring in the month, so.
No, understand.
I don't know what that would mean if I,
If you do
not
this,
to beat around the bush, but would I get my new salary starting, whenever Terry leaves or
Yes.
December first?
No, you get your
You know.
new salary starting whenever Terry.
Because, I still have to pay my dues for the 318 month to month, and I'm doing a month at a time, and I have to do
As soon as
withdrawal.
you're appointed.
So I can do that.
29th or whatever it is, when you get it, start that day.
Okay.
I don't know what have to put that right.
I have no
believe us,
problem
we're gonna do it. I
taking
mean,
effect
that's how we
December
work.
first, that's fine, that to me makes a little sense. for
I'm
the
just
fiscal year.
saying December 1st for the security of the 4-year contract,
Yeah.
be a clean 4-year.
Phil, what's your take on all
Salary
this?
is a different issue.
Yeah, can I just,
That was never a point to, try to rip you off on any.
No,
Is
no,
everybody
no,
else's
no, no,
contract
sir,
okay?
no, not at all.
Yeah.
It was just, when if I do get appointed and hired at the end of the month,
Is
and I
it-
have to
is
file
it-
withdrawal for
Start whenever.
318,
Is it December
what
first?
would my salary be at that point, that's.
It would be what
So
what
they're not-
everybody's saying.
October, November,
They're
you
not
got 3
beginning of the
months
year?
that,
No.
you
No,
didn't worry about until the contract would go into effect.
12/1, November 30th.
Phil's wanting to try to get in here, he's
yeah,
not half sick here, don't stay away from him, so.
so a quick suggestion. Contracts in their nature are voluntary. You can't force someone to enter into a contract. You are a party to the contract as the representative of the county, and these two are the other party. Since they're sitting here in the room, can we just ask them if they would accept a contract with a job description in it, or if they would prefer to enter into a contract without a specified job description?
Yeah,
Because-
that's a good point, but I like that Celeste down here too, because we got 3 and we need to get off this agenda.
I can tell you right now, Celeste does not want to have.
Okay, then we
detailed
need
job
to tweak it to
description.
make, what you go it, let's get it over with. I mean, we're all working together here, to try to get this thing over with.
We can just ask them if they would sign a contract with a detailed job description, or if they would prefer to sign a contract without one.
Celeste is without. She will not sign one with a detailed.
And we're trying to keep the unity. So
I would not vote on that unless I want to make sure about the job description. I want to discuss that further. Because I personally think the job description, and all it is the intent. What is the intent? The intent was if they ever leave, then the next person coming in, we've got a little something for them to go by.
Okay.
If you were to ask me exactly what all detailed with animal control, we hire somebody, I have no idea what to tell them.
In
Other
that,
than,
in that case, I would suggest that the three of you express a unified will right now, whether you want to offer a contract with a job description in it.
Well, okay, can we go through, like, let's just go through the front page, okay? The 90-day deal, don't care one way or another, I just think it's useless as far as these two go. Next, the new person,
and that was the
different story.
intent. That was the intent.
But we're not talking about the new person, we're talking about these two individuals. So, first two lines,
Okay,
I stop.
how about the 90-day, here's the compromise, the 90-day on a new appointment.
That's what it says right now.
Okay, so I can see that was in there.
It says from the initial hire date of a new office.
A new office,
These
so
are,
it's in there, a new office holder, okay, they're not new office holders.
He just now being appointed, right?
Well,
He's had almost 2 months already, so,
But
but,
he still would be considered a new officer.
Yeah.
that's why I said to have this take place in
and
December 1.
Kevin, when does Terry retire?
And you would be
His
grandfathered in.
last day is August 28th.
So September, October, and November would be 90 days, and he would no longer be a new office holder on December 1, 2020.
That's correct.
So regardless, you'd be, in my eyes, you'd be grandfathered in.
Now, for Kevin's, we would need to adjust that benefits for leave for whatever his
Volunteer pay.
collective bargaining.
That I don't have a problem with. We get that taken care of. There was never any intent here to reduce or anything modify.
I didn't know about the handbook either, so.
Yeah, that's fine.
So we'll get that, I want to get that straightened out first.
Tweaking all that is clear, but what I'm hearing is that the main contention over this is whether to include a job description in this contract. That's the only thing I'm hearing the three of you just disagree over. So I'm wondering if you should just vote right now.
I think if you were to contact attorneys at ICRMP, I think they would recommend having a job description. That'd just be my guess. I'm pulling that out of the air.
That
I have
doesn't
nothing to
change,
back it up.
that doesn't change the fact that the three of you are disagreeing over that, and you need to express as a board whether you want to include a
It's
job.
not-
Let me express it then. I'll express my opinion. I believe we should have a job description in.
Okay, so we got Celeste, and then I'm trying to get three people to.
Right, now, but let me finish one last thing. My job description, what I'm looking at is a lot of those are universal. You know, you can't pinpoint down.
The blanket.
Because it's a blanket job description, and if it changes, it changes. It's a living document, basically, is the way I'm looking at it. Something comes down new from, IEMA, that's part of the job description now, you know?
And that's why the last paragraph under duties is in there. It's neither all-inclusive nor exhaustive. New duties will come up, and they are to be considered included in this job description.
Typical of most job descriptions.
Yeah.
The other duties and so forth, so it's open ended.
There you go, it's right there.
Right.
It's changed.
And I'm just
You have a
suggesting that
union contract, I can't remember, they just started job descriptions, like,
Same thing. In
contract
all job descriptions, it
for
always
staff.
says, yes, for our clerks, for our field listers, and any other duties as, as a supervisor. So you leave it open so that you can adjust it. So
It's very short what it says.
it's fairly short, but I mean, waiting on the counter, customers, answering phone. You can't, like you said, you can't name everything.
Yeah, you can't.
That's-
And it may
So,
change.
That's
no
why you
future.
put that language in there.
What you just said,
Attorneys, I will put it, that, and any other duties, so.
And be the same way with select.
well, what you just said is what my thinking, it's so fluid, it could change by
And
the
that's why
second.
you add that language that you.
And then you're gonna have to add that in, I mean,
It's in the contract.
But I'm trying to get three contracts, and Celeste doesn't want to do it, so I'm trying, what is the best way to get Celeste on board so we get, huh?
She'll be down here in a minute, she's on the phone.
That's all I'm trying to, and if a duties is a holdup, scratch the damn thing, and let's move on down the road and get three contracts and be done with it.
Well, and I think, instead of just saying base salary, I think we should be specific on these two and what their salary would be.
that would mean you can't change it next budget season.
No, that's not true.
If you're contracting with
four-year
someone for a
contract.
specific salary, if you
That's true.
breach that contract, you'd be subject to damages.
That would be true.
Yes.
This says you can make their salary contingent on your
What
budget.
we've done with some others is we've been very specific that this year they would have this amount, this year they'd have this amount, this year they'd have this amount. You could even put the salaries in there for all 4 years.
On the duties, on staggered.
Yeah.
Like Kevin, we could do a sidebar deal, agree on your salary, you'll agree on, you know, that's not a
But
big deal.
but you're limited on what you could
But
vote on
with
the contract over the life of the people that are on the board at the time. You can't do it.
You can't do anything past the life of the
You
board.
can't.
Right.
That was.
So in this case, this is the board now.
So the life of the board, 2 years?
It'll give you changing,
The life of this board is 4 months.
yeah, exactly.
Well, it'd be, for the majority though, it would be 4 years. I don't know, that would be Phillips.
Philip, how would that be
That's
interpreted
Phillips'
to you?
interpretation
know?
of that.
I've not looked at the statute or rule in question about.
That came
why
into
the board-
a couple of times in the past over maybe a contract, over a certain length where that board, the voting board would change. And so you can't limit future boards to a contract that, so there's a certain amount of time you make a contract for, is what I'm trying to get at. And the specifics, yes, we have to go back to this.
Well, like, I'll use this. Kelly, she has an existing salary.
Mhm.
Kevin doesn't. We haven't, and we need to vote on, I feel we need to vote on his salary and his start date because that hasn't been done.
Okay, well,
Well,
that,
that's,
we could do that.
that's a point, that's coming up on new business.
I understand.
On the agenda.
But, so technically he doesn't have a base salary at this moment,
The animal control supervisor has a base salary.
but it's going to change.
Next fiscal year,
No.
we rebudget.
It's going to change.
29,
Yeah.
he's taking over the duties and he's not making as much there he is, it's kind of in the middle.
Right.
Okay. And you've already decided what number that is.
We've already picked a number, yes.
Then that's done.
No, it's not done yet.
But it's-
We
I don't-
have to vote on
You,
it.
if you say base salary, then you're using the base salary that the present director is getting, and that's not an accurate terminology, because the salary is going to come down a little bit.
Okay, that's not what this says. And if you're asking my legal opinion, I would suggest that you don't obligate yourself to a certain dollar amount because of sometimes you might need to change that under a budget or you might need to come up with a new agreement.
I think, take the word base out, just put salary.
You're saying scratch the base,
Just scratch base. That way it's not like a set, this is the minimum.
it could be a different
It
salary.
could be a different, if we run across hard times down the road, say 8 years down the road or more, and we got a new animal control director, Terry, Kevin's moved on. And we need to readjust. We could do it just as salary. Once again, it's like the all ever-changing job description.
Agency director's salary and any subsequent increase in salary will be determined by the.
Problem with everybody would decide where my salary would go.
You mean like yours is
Let's say, and on my end, I would have a problem with that.
I've seen,
Maybe I shouldn't be in here.
I've
I'm
seen,
just saying,
I have
that would
seen
be
many
an issue.
employment agreements, many, that are very specific when it comes to salary. And you lay everything out for, in this case, 2/3 of the board will be here for 4 years. You can lay that out for 4 years. We know what that's going to be.
Once again, I think this is all,
But I have a problem with, when it says base salary, we don't have a base salary.
recommended take out the base.
Well, we don't have, yeah, because we don't have a base salary.
Okay, so
Take that
just
out.
the supervisor's salary and any increase in salary.
The subsequent, yeah. Take out base. Or
Well, you could negotiate in salary.
That's not a bad word either.
will that be determined by the board?
Right, yeah.
Well, if you're saying it's agency director negotiated salary and any subsequent increase in firm majority board.
Yeah, that's the way it is. That's the way it
So
always.
that's the way it is. So,
So the word negotiated, it would be a bad word to have in there.
Well,
I think it would,
the majority determined by the majority by the approval of the county board.
base needs to be dropped, so.
That's what it's always been, just.
For you guys, we're only talking about this because we can't be talking about this outside of this meeting, okay? So it's not, we're to discuss this because we can't sit and talk about it. So, just so you all know why we're doing it, so. Okay, Celeste?
Yes.
Okay.
So here's, I'm gonna start how this all started, okay? No problem.
You can hear all three.
Yeah, I'm gonna just give you my take on it.
Okay.
And it doesn't mean diddly, okay? And it says under terms, it's got, this happened to be Kelly's in my hand, okay, so it goes, blah, 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 2024, a 90-day, basically a probationary deal. I think for any of you, that is a moot point. Jim explained why he liked it. It's a moot point, plus you guys have been here for, well, you've been here forever.
Been 4 years.
Okay, so because it says from higher date. So I'm not sure why that's in there. Now, if a new person comes along and takes your place, sure, put it in there, but it's a new person, okay? All right, so we just talked about the base, we talked about parties agree to emergency management, or whatever you want. Take out the base and just go into salary, which, I don't know. Down at the bottom, Kevin, for instance, would be, shall receive the benefits that are in the handbook. Well, Kevin, or Terry was getting the same benefits as the same union employees for all these years, so that's considered past practice, and we know what Brett or labor attorneys say, you must go by what you had in past practice, okay? So that's something we're talking about changing. The duties, my take on that is, I'm just looking at this one here from Kelly's 3 pages, it's fluid, it can change tomorrow. We know what she does, you know what you do, you know what he does. I'm not a fan of putting all the duty stuff in there. That's something just very short, like a line Jim said, well, go something about a couple sentences, whatever that was, and that's it. So, I mean, I'll vote for you, I don't care, but I just want the contract over and then, you know, we're going down the line.
My thing that I've been explaining about this whole time is that, Brent's correct. The 90 days is on it. Someone, whoever would replace you, if you decide to retire, the next person coming in that we appoint, that's where they would fall under. Maybe we could put something on here that the current department heads at the time of this contract is implemented will be grandfathered in on that 90 day.
Well,
That way hang on a second. But everything else, the salary and the benefits, you know, according to the handbook, we want you to get whatever that you're normally getting now. It doesn't have to necessarily pertain to the handbook. Okay, we want, it was my intent to keep everything the same as it is right now. My intent on this whole thing was just to give you a little security on a 4-year contract, okay, as the board's change. As far as the job description goes, like I use the term, it's like a living document. It's sometimes you don't know. It's a wide scope of job duties that you do at any given time. It's hard to nail down one particular thing. Grant writing for various entities, okay? That's a big all-encompassing thing. That's fine. That's part of your job duty. If you think of something else, that's a big thing that you do, put that down. And so basically, so when someone else comes in, this is what we can say, this is basically your job. The state may come along later on and say, now you're mandated to do this and this and this and that, so it's not in here at the time. Well, it's all encompassing, so that's part of your job now. So in other words, just because it's not in here on that point, doesn't mean that you're doing something that wasn't in here. It's that we're going to hold you to that. No, it's all encompassing. So but we just like that personally. I just like to have a little job description so that when you decide to retire, that the next person coming in, well, can look at this and say, we can say, this is your job description. So to the best of your knowledge. And it's a living document. So it can change. That's all I'm saying.
This contract is, you know, we don't need to set it up for what's going to happen down the road, because this particular contract is with a specific person for a specific period of time. So, Kevin Harris, this contract is only good for 4 years. At the end of that 4-year period, there will be a new contract drafted.
Correct.
Same thing with Jeff, and the same thing after 6 years with
That's
Greg
correct.
Smothers. So I don't think it's necessary to put something in here that's going to be for a future person that isn't Kevin Harris or isn't Kelly Norris or isn't Celeste Sellers or isn't Jeff Robinson because of that. It's for 4 years, and when they leave, if they leave in the middle of that term, you're gonna have a new contract with somebody, person A.
Okay, now who's gonna put down, are you gonna tell them exactly what their job duties are? I'm just asking.
Well, whoever takes your place, you're gonna work with them, tell them what they're gonna do.
There's gonna be you're gonna have the,
Training process.
well, here.
Do you know what their job duties are?
They are explained to the new person.
What if they don't know the new person? I'm just saying hypothetically, I'm
Okay.
pulling hypothetically.
Celeste leaves.
Yeah.
Do you not think that when you post the job, that it's not going to have job duties? And before she leaves, you can have, if you really wanted to, or her, or anybody else, we could post those. But under normal circumstances, that's posted. We know, it's that for the person to put a resume in, they're going to know what that job description is. We're going to post that. Every time we've ever posted something, when we posted the position for Greg Smothers many, many years ago, we had in the paper what that was.
You eliminate a lot of people.
And we had, and we still had 15 applications or resumes submitted, and we narrowed those down to 3.
But you had those job descriptions ahead of time.
Correct, but they weren't written on a piece of paper like this. The person who was leaving submitted us what his or her job descriptions were.
And that's all I'm asking.
But it doesn't need to be in this. This is a contract for all this is an employment contract for Kevin Harris for 4 years. We're not trying to do something here in the form of a contract that's gonna be all-inclusive for 20 years.
Okay.
Because
I
it's only a
understand.
4-year contract.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying I'm kind of saying the same thing. The only thing is, instead of putting it in the paper at the time someone's gone, we've got it right here. So we can say, this is your job descriptions.
But 12 years from now, this job description may or may not be the same.
That's why I said it was a living document, and that's why it's all.
So all we need is an employment contract that is a basic statement that this is a contract between the county and person X for 4 years in this particular instance. And all we're doing is we're setting up what their salaries, their income's going to be. They've got some protection here for early termination if they want to be early. If we want to early terminate them, we have a process that we have to go through. If they want to leave early, there's a process where they have to give us notice that they're going to leave early. That's very important. That they're not going to break the law. They're not going to do some sort of thing that's going to get them in trouble and us in trouble. What their duties are, that they're going to perform their duties, that it just
Now,
not specific, but
as
just
far as-
what they've got here.
Phil, correct me on this if I'm wrong, but as far as that, on that note, now, once again, we're pulling hypothetical. Let's just say they did break the law, okay? That's where we would probably fall back to the employee handbook, what would happen, or, as whatever the state's attorney's office would do on something like that. That's where the employee handbook would come into play, I believe.
If the appointee broke the law,
Yeah,
under termination for just cause,
let's just say, for example, and I hate going down this, chasing this rabbit hole, but committed a felony somehow.
under termination for just cause, it includes a serious violation of the law.
So that's it.
And then I think it's important to have
also-
residency.
It also includes a serious violation of duties. You both, and just from my point of view, both sides of this argument have merit. I would think that you're not going to convince each other to change anyone's mind, so you just need to decide, do you want to include a list of duties or not?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
And from what I've heard, 2 out of the 3 of you do not want a detailed list of duties in the employment contract. Having a job description is important, and even without a list of duties, you reference a job description, so you can just have in your supervisor's desk a job description that you can update annually for your successor, because if Kelly dies tomorrow, who you replace her with might never met Kelly. So she can't train this person. So having a job description is important, but it sounds like 2 out of the 3 of you don't want to end this employment contract.
But we have a job description identified.
Yeah.
So without it being specific in this employment contract, we do have a job description.
So you're wanting a job description outside the contract.
Yes.
Okay. You're not wanting a job description. Correct?
Well, when I asked a while ago, you have a job description you already made up. Celeste, you know you have a job description already made up,
I don't have one made up.
but they take it, okay. Let me ask you one-
Changes every day.
This might be a split difference here. Let me ask a question. Define me in a couple sentences, what, 2, 3, 4 sentences, your job description. Kind of overall synopsis of it.
Well, I do grant writing for municipalities in the county and for the county. I also do all the financial data reporting for municipalities and for the county. I do law enforcement, technology.
Okay, you're getting too deep now. Okay,
I mean, it goes.
Just
in training.
That's what I'm saying, okay, so that, you got your question.
And now we're in the CARES Act and the
Yeah.
CARE program. And I mean, I understand it's a pandemic, but every day there's something new we get.
Okay,
Every day.
then it could go on and on, it's fluid. Okay, you're back up. Well, okay, I was hoping you might take 2 or 3 sentences to wrap it all up, but, okay. So,
Can I say
Yeah.
one?
yeah, I wonder what you think about it all.
I think the contract is a nice idea. I wish we would have had it 20 years ago when I had to deal with previous boards.
Agreed.
However, I think we have 5 appointed officials, and why should 3 have a different contract than the other 2? All of them should be the same.
Well, we addressed that earlier, theirs are statutory, they're by the state of Illinois.
But they're still appointed.
Jeff,
And the contract is between the county and the appointed official, not.
I'm gonna let the attorney answer, but Jeff is, well, I looked it up, and it's totally different situation, so, I'll let the legal
Isn't
person
it a
answer.
one-page thing that says I appoint you for 4
It's only like a paragraph.
Yeah, what Jeff has is an appointment, not an employment contract.
So are we not appointed?
Your appointment and this employment contract are separate. This is to bind both of you as the office holder and the county board to a term, give you protection as far as termination and for cause or not, and to give you guarantees as far as your benefits and salary. That none of that is specified in your appointment. Your appointment just says you have this job and your term is for this many years. But
Okay, let me throw this out there. What if none of those 3 out there want to sign the contract? I mean, it was never to be used as a tool or a weapon of any sort.
Security.
All it was, the intent was to be security. I can't force you to sign any.
Well, it's like
And if
services.
you don't sign it, you don't sign it. And I think y'all do a great job, personally.
if they don't want to sign this contract, they can meet with private legal counsel and come with a counteroffer, give you their own counteroffer, or just refuse to sign it.
Or we could do like what Ron said, and I think maybe I could probably agree with that, have the contract and then have the job description outside, as long as we got a job description.
Yeah, it's outside
For
the
someone, that it's for the next person who would come in if you guys retire.
That's,
I'm mandated to have a job description that has to be turned
So-
in. We're audited, I have to turn it into Celeste, so
Right.
she has to turn it in
Right.
every
it would be like
every
a,
year.
It would be like a sidebar deal, this, we did the union contract, this, and then even like on my salary, that's separate, we'll do that outside this.
Where I think it would come in real handy is, and God forbid, I'm not looking for this to happen, but this is a possibility. You know, we're not guaranteed our next breath. And somebody just have a sudden stroke or heart attack or get killed in an automobile wreck. You know, it would be nice to have a job description somewhere, even though it is a fluid one, but not part of the employment contract. That's all I'm
I
saying.
agree. That's what I'm saying, I agree. You have it, but just not in here.
Okay, well, this is what we're here for, to discuss this and get this all laid out. Like Brent said, it's one time we get together and talk about it.
It really
We
said.
can't go off the office and talk, so here we go.
This is the first time I've seen a job description for animal control. Kind of like.
Terry was the one that.
Okay, okay. And I read through it and it's pretty well accurate what I've been doing the last 2 months.
Okay,
But like Kelly, we're a licensed facility. And we have statutes, we have animal control acts and welfare acts and so forth, we have to work under anyhow. That's not included. Well, I mean, he's got it in here, but I could get an email next week saying this law is changing next time, in December.
And then that's
January
that's a
1st.
moot point then.
And then you're going, well, that's, I get the job description, but as far, it changes all the time.
but that's where it'd be covered under, what I was saying is a living action.
And he's also in my EOP, so his job description is, when this stuff is in every department is, job description is also in our emergency operation plan as well. So it's
Intertwined.
already in a living document for our county.
Okay.
So I don't know if you realize that either. It's a document that's in our office as well. So for disasters. So
Okay,
And it's filed.
yeah, it's filed. It's a document that you sign off on every 2 years.
yeah, okay, so in light of that, then, I'd be fine if that wasn't in the contract.
You've got it somewhere, you got all
As
that
far as,
duties somewhere, you got it written up right.
Well, like I said, this is the first time I've seen the duties, so I don't have, I can take this and make
Okay,
a
yeah.
copy of it, have it, for future reference, but, I've never seen it actually supervise your job duties and this. And you said Terry, came up with this, correct?
yeah, very.
Yeah, like I said, there's so many, animal control acts and welfare acts and so forth that we have to work under anyhow as a
And
licensed
it changes.
facility. And it changes,
Sure.
it changes year to
Correct.
year sometimes.
Correct.
But again, that's.
Okay.
Okay, so
We're covered.
it sounds like we're agreeing to take this outside the box. Okay, then the other two, three things, again, no matter, whatever. The 90-day, is it crucial, the 90-day probation period, one, Jim, I talked about striking base, yes. And then your part about the handbook and the only three legs. So it's a probation period important with these individuals at this point.
Oh, with these, I think these three would be grandfathered in, is what, that's fine.
And I say take it out.
But I'm talking about on the next, so.
Right,
So on the next hire,
it's in there.
you put it in there.
Absolutely.
For a new hire, yes,
Brand new hire.
because that gives you.
Okay.
that
Well, it
gives
says on here,
you
for a new
probation.
hire.
All right.
New office holder, you guys aren't been
The
here.
only thing is, on the new hire, if, there's no guarantee what board will have, and will they do the same thing? Who knows? That was the only reason why.
Like Celeste said, she had this years ago because I can tell you a bunch of stories, so.
So could I.
Playing the devil's advocate, that's a new board, it's gonna be a different board, it's gonna be a different person. So the board doesn't have to choose to put that even in there, or they can make it longer.
Yeah.
That board is going, this is only covering this specific 4-year period.
Okay.
Period,
All right,
literally.
all right. We'll strike that.
And then, Ron, what do you want to do on, I like the idea of Jim saying strike the base.
I don't like the word base.
Okay, so that's out.
To extend the conference for 15.
And then, the other thing was parties agree shall receive all the benefits. That's your different, you're the one that's got to go by. I got yours from it, so where is yours? That does not mean to be in yours, then.
Right.
Where's that at?
Well, I pulled first one in front of me. Kevin would be, Ron, go down to page 1, come up 2 paragraphs from the bottom. And that, I'm recommending that be scratched because it's,
What were we talking about?
Right here.
That second paragraph from the bottom, where
because that's tiny to the handbook.
benefits shall be,
Yeah, I was on the other one too. That would be putting you backwards instead of keeping it
Yeah,
status quo.
I would lose quite a bit of the time I've.
No, I'm personally for status quo. What you do in the past, is what you do. Base salary is out.
That just for the animal control supervisor's copy?
Looks the only one that has it.
Yeah, I don't think. Kelly, this is, or Celeste, let me read to you, Celeste. It says, the parties agree that
Say it in there too.
blank shall receive all benefits and leave in accordance with existing Williamson policies contained in the Williamson County handbook. Is that
what you do?
I have more time than what's in the handbook, but I'm
Okay.
one person.
Okay.
It needs to be gone on theirs.
Okay, so
Actually, you scratch your thing all up, make it unison and just fulfill it, all of them.
I know
But I mean,
what,
we turn all our time in every year.
I know what Rhett was trying to do there, but that's,
And base is out.
So you don't want any leave policies spelled out except for what's in Kevin's collective bargaining agreement?
I couldn't hear you.
You don't want any leave policies spelled out except for what's in Kevin's pre-existing collective bargaining agreement?
Okay, would be outside that now. So it,
But you're giving him what is in the collective bargaining agreement.
correct, he'd be the same as them.
But you don't want leave policies spelled out for anyone else?
what about if you put a specific, thing, like if the new department head or new appointment comes from the union, that they carry over their, whatever,
Yeah, that's what
Things-
Kevin's is gonna say, but for,
In this case, it's accurate, may not be another case down the road.
right, I'm saying.
So we're working only on what we got now.
If he comes out like an,
It is.
like an employee is now, who is a union employee, is now made the department head.
So this isn't gonna mess with whatever
I
kind
think
of
the less-
approved now.
I think the less you
Should not, it should not, no.
in the event you have a new hire.
We want to make sure about that.
In the event you have a new hire in any of these positions, are you going to want a leave policy spelled out? Because the whole idea, at least from my perspective of this, was I had a template that said name of appointee, title of office, and you could just do a find and replace. New name, new office position. Sign it.
I think personally, it's a whole new employment contract, quite frankly.
Agreed.
I don't think that it should ever be just cookie cutter.
So then, okay,
Well, and back up on that, is what Jim said a while ago, it's a new person will come in, yes, they're gonna get their 90 days probation period. If they're brand new hire, it says in here, initial hire date of office holder. Well, you guys have been here for 7, 8, you've been here for 500 years, I mean, you know, it's the same.
Feels like it.
I probably just in this meeting alone, huh?
I think yours.
Oh, man.
Okay, but what about,
If you did have a new hire, would you make the hire and appointment contingent on this contract?
No, brand new contract.
So you would negotiate a new contract, irrelevant, make this irrelevant and negotiate a brand new contract.
you'd almost have to
Within
put the 90 days
Yeah,
in.
my view is this contract is for these people.
I wouldn't be here, but that's exactly right. As Brent says, this contract is only for these people, for this position. A new person, X, coming in here, or B, or pick the letter.
So you're not trying to put down any sort of policy or precedent for a future hire, saying this is what our hiring practices
I
are.
have never seen a contract, I've never seen a contract done that way. So, as far as, it's what, who the person is and us, period.
Let me throw another little thing in here, a caveat. Under benefits and leave, okay, okay, what do you guys think about, say, at least a 30-day window on a leave? At least give us notice, so that we can, yeah, if they were gonna leave.
Well, that's where.
That's under early
termination.
Oh, that'd be determination.
That leave
Okay, I was
is like
reading that
vacation
wrong.
It works on both sides.
Reading that as a leave.
That way,
It's a
that
leave,
way,
but
if they're leaving
I'm
us,
gonna need no leave after this meeting.
60 days. We got it.
and that way it covers both of them. If the board tries to get rid of them, they got 60 days notice.
It works both
to
sides.
either fight it or whatever. And if they're leaving us, they've got to give us 60 days or negotiate it.
Correct. Celeste, would you be good with, do you want to look at any of this, or, I mean, you're not up now anyway, I don't think, are you? Are you even on here to be appointed?
No.
Okay, so it doesn't, we talk about it later.
It's on there under old business.
Huh?
It's under
Okay.
old business.
Another question, another
You want
question.
What is, you want time, not worry about you now, do you want time to look at this, or,
No, it's okay.
if you're under old business, it's okay which way?
Whatever you guys.
Whatever, all three same, unison, okay, okay, all right, it's fair, it is good,
Okay, so devil's advocate here, what's the consequence in, we don't get a written notice 60 days prior to them wanting to leave?
You sue them for damages.
Yeah.
For breach of contract.
What's the, which would be,
So,
Which would be,
It's a civil suit.
she leaves suddenly, she says, stands up right now and says, I quit. You have to make expenditures to replace her, and which would normally be easy because she say, you have 2 months, I'm gonna be leaving, find my replacement. All of the extra effort you put forth to find a replacement quickly, you can sue her to pay you back for that extra effort.
okay.
cost, say like advertising the position?
I would like to just do a devil's advocate too on this one now, because that,
You don't have to.
I understand.
But if you're asking, playing devil's advocate, what's your recourse if she
Right.
doesn't comply, that's your recourse.
I mean, I think 60 is a stretch. I mean, and most people, manage by going, just talk a regular staff member, you would like to have 2 weeks notice. Correct. Okay, standard. So, Kevin, you got a job come along and they're gonna offer you a job, but you gotta take it within 30 days, whatever, you know. I would like to see it go down to 30.
That's fine.
Yeah, because you don't know, you know,
I don't have a problem with that.
so,
Make it 30 days.
On both sides.
yeah, that's just splitting hairs, you never know.
Yeah.
The only reason it was 60 days, and I talked with Brett about this, was, and it wouldn't be from their point, really, it was from the county standpoint. If you had a change in board, you had a change in philosophy, that the board couldn't come in and just carte blanche make a change on the fly without giving that person 60 days, because in that 60-day period, they would be able to bring, if it was a false getting rid of, they could have litigation, litigation goes both ways.
Okay, then, under benefits, on section 7,
Okay.
at least this is on Kevin's, I believe.
Yeah, I think that whole section should be taken out. I combined it into section 2, salary, benefits, and leave.
Okay, correct. So just scratch out section 7.
That was it.
You
I
know,
do think though that the requirement for residency, I think is good.
I agree with that.
and where do you want, where do you want to put that in? Is that
That'd be new 7.
Section 8.
section
Section
8?
eight. Section 7.
That would become section 7. if
Well, that
you
would,
take
because
seven.
we're supposed to take one out. Okay. So that will be, 8 will be now 7. And I just want to say this for the record, is this is not something that I'm really concerned about with the board. I have been here 16 years. I have seen some terrible things from some of the board members that are cliquish and political and the whole 9 yards. Less, we could write a book. And so this is, hash this out now on record. It's the best way to do it. It's the only way we can do it. And we want you all to be happy because we're happy with you. And that's simple. So,
I smile every day on my way in.
no, you don't. I saw you the other day. You were bitter.
Now, how does it stand, brother, you doing that when you got a mask on?
That's because she took one of our parking spots.
Yeah. So,
So if we're gonna stick with the 12/1, start of this particular 4-year term, what I would like to see then is we have this redrafted, that way everybody can take a look at it, and then we can put it on the September agenda. And
well, okay, with these.
Oh, yeah, he's-
Or you can vote on this, we continue upon these changes we just made. I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, he's got it written down, I got it written down, we all got it written down.
Appointing him as animal control supervisor does not require you to enter into an employment agreement with him. The appointment and this employment agreement are different.
Right.
So you
That's what I
can
mentioned
vote
earlier.
on his,
Right.
you can vote on his
Getting
appointment
hired
today.
now,
Right.
And when Terry leaves, and then the contract they took, some person fine with that.
Yeah, you can vote to
You okay with
appoint,
that?
you can
Okay,
vote
I
to,
know what topic, okay.
you can vote to appoint him today and approve an offered employment contract in September.
Okay.
No executive, good, good. Worry about that, okay. All right, so we're gonna table this again, so. You guys got anything else, Les? Anything? Good?
And did we need to-
Give me a motion.
I make a motion that we table the appointment for emergency management agency director.
Second.
Jim Marlowe,
Yay.
Brent Gentry,
Yeah.
Ron Ellis.
And I make the motion for the, to table the appointment for the economic development director.
Second.
Ron Ellis.
Yay.
Rick Gentry.
Yay.
Jim Marlowe.
Can I make sure that I'm clear on what changes we're making to this contract while you're all in the room?
Okay, everybody, let's go through this. Okay, term,
Striking the 90-day.
right.
Section 2, striking the leave policy.
The two would be, on this, striking the base.
The base.
In section 2, but we are striking the.
Oh, on down,
second
yeah.
paragraph. Yeah, taking out base salary.
Talk about the handbook.
Just base.
Yeah, removing the detailed list of duties.
Okay, but wait, back on section 2. Okay.
Let's
On
say
under
base.
the existing Williamson County policies, okay, what are you striking, that whole thing, or?
I was gonna strike the entire second paragraph because Kevin's keeping whatever he has as a collective bargaining
Celeste
agreement.
says she's not the
And
same as that,
Celeste
so,
and Kelly have their own,
so you're gonna strike base and that section, correct?
the entire second paragraph.
It
And the
says
word base.
benefit, yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Section 3, you're just removing the list of duties.
okay,
Section 5, changing 60 to 30.
correct,
Removing section 7, and new section 7 would be the residency requirement.
correct. That's what I got.
And the duties description would be what the description was in the one that Rhett had there.
Sure.
Just so we're on the same page.
And we're keeping the residents.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
I need a motion for the animal control.
I think we're going to appoint him,
Yeah.
What is the table?
we're going to appoint him today,
It's
Oh,
not.
Oh, appointment, I'm sorry, I thought that was.
effective 29th.
Okay.
I think that's what we're gonna do.
All right, moving on, under old business, we do have motion to bid accounting services.
I would assume there's no interest in that.
That's not exactly what you said, but it's close on.
All right. We good to move on?
Yeah.
Okay, under new business, the appointment for animal control. Well, looks like we're gonna have to look for somebody.
Yeah. Kevin looking around.
There's only one person left in the room.
You
so
doesn't have
it's usually by
contract.
default.
So I guess we're just doing the appointment and then we're about the contract later, correct?
Well,
That's what you want.
what we had discussed, just so it's on the table, is appointing who is a current employee of the animal control department, Kevin Harris. Our present director is retiring officially on Friday, August the 28th, 2020. Kevin's start date as the director would be Saturday, August the 29th, 2020. And what we had discussed was
I've got the email out, so go ahead, I'm following.
$25.50 an hour, which would be a little bit of an increase because Kevin's current salary is $22.33 per hour. And come August the 29th, that would increase to $25.50.
So that's basically splitting hairs with what Terry's saying. Terry's 2861.
Okay, so that was.
To extend the conference for 15.
20, he's making right now
22.33.
2233. Terry makes 2861, 25.
So he would get a $3.17 an hour raise.
It's all correct, right, Kevin? Okay.
Good.
Okay,
I think you're.
all right.
So if that's the case, I'll make the motion that we appoint Kevin Harris as the new animal control director starting August the 29th, 2020, at a salary of $25.50 per hour.
I'll second.
Ron Ellis.
Yay.
Rick Gentry.
Yay.
Jim Marlowe.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congrats. All right.
Hope you have fun. Don't get bit.
Try not to.
You'll be working with us on, like I said, on negotiating contracts and.
You're down on our side.
Talk to Terry about the training and everything like that, as far as for your department, whatever you feel is right. You're gonna be the man. Right.
You're officially on the county side, bro.
I think it'll be a good smooth transition for everybody.
Well, you've been doing it for a month and a half, so.
Well, and with, being working out there the years I have already, and the situation that arise, and I think it's just been very smooth.
I will tell you that the two employees you've got now are pro Kevin taking over. I do know that. So,
We all work well together. No
So-
issues there at all.
Congratulations, I think, everything will be fine, like I said, and I think there's some great things out there.
if you think the first hour was boring, if you're welcome to stay for the rest of the morning, or you're welcome to leave.
Well, can I bring up a few,
Yeah.
few points? Okay.
Why don't you stand on the golden eggs?
Okay. A few things I want to bring up here. With me being hired as supervisor, my overtime is no longer, is that correct? Because if you wanted to follow along with what Terry did.
Correct.
Correct,
Okay.
gonna be salary.
Okay, that's what, I just want clarification.
Mhm.
And I guess still get, as the contract would say, the state, I would still get my benefits from the bargaining agreement we had.
Correct.
Okay. And I would not accrue comp time, right?
The same, whatever Terry did, is that the same way we're gonna do
Okay,
it?
okay,
That's
and
correct.
that's fine, I have no problem with that. This may be an issue we had talked about down the road, but I do have comp time built up for my tenure already.
Might need to talk to HR as well.
Figure out how we want to handle that, what to do.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk to you about that.
I think that's all I had.
And then
Make sure
if
that
Julie-
we're aware of what's
If
expected.
Julie might have a question on it, she can contact maybe Rhett to talk about how that rolls out or rolls in, or what we gotta do, okay?
I certainly don't want to lose everything I learned or.
Do you
No.
know off the top of your head how much time you're talking about?
Comp time, I have 39 and a half hours built up over almost 8 years.
And, what we
That'd be
could
no
do
problem.
with that is just do that in the form of a check. You
I was
know,
gonna suggest that, I didn't.
And get it off the books?
And get it
Yes.
and be done with it and get it, that way on.
and that way
It's only 39.
It's clear.
Yeah, I think that's probably, well, we'll find, I think that's probably,
We need to verify that that's what we can do.
Right,
that way you start clean, and we have to hold it up for another year or two to catch up with
and,
it.
that's the way Terry didn't have comp time, he didn't get overtime, and I'm fine with that. I understand it comes with the job, and I can accept that, I just, what I built up, I just don't.
We don't want you to lose
Throw away,
what you've
I don't
accumulated.
think that'd be fair.
No.
None of us would would expect that at all.
Okay. If I could get paid out for that comp time and be done with it, that would be fine by me. Because I could tell you, there's no way I could get that in. I couldn't take out that much time.
Now you're in charge, so you could, I mean, you
So,
can't.
exactly,
But I think what the board would like to see is that on the 25 to 29th or shortly thereafter, coming out of that union.
Oh, sure, yeah.
You're gonna do that, correct?
Absolutely, yeah, I was looking before I officially got hired, and at this point, I'll probably contact them today and start the withdrawal process, and all you have to do is have your dues paid up and have a majority of the board sign off on you. Union board.
And I don't want to talk union stuff, but we're at minimum staffing, you do have two people underneath.
We do, yeah, we are minimum at this point,
When is that contract up, you know?
2022.
2 years.
I was gonna say a couple of years.
So your minimum staffing, so we're good. Okay.
Yeah, we have minimum.
So-
minimum staffing, right?
Before I leave, I think I would stop and talk to Julie, about
Okay.
everything else, the wage and all, everything else.
As long as the three are okay with me getting paid out for that, I can talk to Julie.
Yeah, we don't want you to lose it.
Okay.
That would be fair. No.
Okay.
And that way, it'll take a couple of weeks to get done, because it would flow through. I would imagine it would flow through like with a normal paycheck. It'd be a separate check. You do not want to include it in a normal paycheck, because you'll get screwed with taxes.
Right. Okay, I'll get the payroll as well.
You're probably one of, not many employees in this county have time. Usually they burn it, and they get it, so I am.
Yeah. But, okay, that's all that I have.
I'd like to talk to you after the meeting.
Okay.
Good.
Sure.
Okay.
And that would go.
Thank you.
To your new role.
Thank you.
Stay or to leave, whichever one.
Okay.
This is probably
You
short.
probably talk to Julie
This
this.
part, yeah,
I'll go see her.
yeah, we'll probably.
Take care of that.
You may learn something to bring back to us if she tells you, I don't know. So.
All right.
Okay, next on the agenda is the resignation of Circuit Judge Brad Blyer. I received this letter. Judge Blyer called me and I was shocked. We kind of knew it was coming, but I asked when he was going to retire and he goes, today. Well, that was Monday,
That's what he told me. I'm like, wow.
August 3rd. So let me read this letter real quick. This is to advise of my retirement as circuit judge effective August 3rd, 2020, and the appointment of Judge Stephen Green as the new Williamson County presiding judge. I want to thank you for the cooperation and assistance received from the county board over the last several years. I know the judiciary is just a small part of the total operations of the county, and I appreciate your willingness to fairly consider all of our requests. With the board's cooperation and assistance, I feel that we've been able to effectively provide quality service to the citizens of Williamson County. I thank you again for all your help. And I sincerely say that it's been a pleasure working with Judge Blyer. As with all office holders, we wish we could do more, but we are limited budgetarily at times. But I wish him the best of luck in his retirement.
When I had talked with him, he had told me that he was going to retire, and he was not looking forward to the new budget process for this year. So I think I haven't had a chance to talk to him yet, teasing, but Judge Blyer has done a good job, but I don't think there's any coincidence here that he was not looking forward to this budget. So that, I'm sure that didn't play into this at all.
And he
We're not
let-
even.
And he let Steve a gift of the COVID issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, Monday, I asked him what he's gonna do, and he's like, well, I'm gonna hunt, and you're gonna take me fishing more, so I'm gonna have to fish, and so then, and he do private practice, so he's gotta stay busy. I mean, I grew up with him in Carter, but he's a good dude. But now, do we not have to, I don't think we do, but we don't have to okay
We don't have to vote on this.
Steve.
No.
No,
No.
that's all judicial.
Okay, right.
All right, next we have the resignation of Sam Granati from the Merit Board. He sent a letter here to Mr. Gentry, to whom it may concern. Due to health reasons, I need to resign from the Williamson County Merit Board. I've enjoyed all my years of service, and I wish you the best for the future.
Make a motion to accept the resignation of Sam. He's been a very good board member and a great person.
I'll second that.
Ron Ellis,
Yay.
Brent Gentry,
Yeah,
Jim Marlowe.
And then the merit board will,
then he said he's working on something.
they will recommend his replacement.
All right.
All right, we have the raffle and poker run license for the American Legion. Philip, have you looked at this contract? Or?
I looked at both of the applications. They both look good to me.
I'll make a motion that we accept the raffle and poker run license for the American Legion.
Second.
Ron Ellis,
Yay.
Brent Gentry,
Yay.
Jim Marlowe.
Yay. And next we have the raffle and poker run license for Williamson County Ducks Unlimited.
And I'll make a motion that we accept the raffle and poker run license for the Williamson County Ducks Unlimited.
Second.
Ron Ellis,
Yay.
Brent Gentry,
Yay.
Jim Marlowe.
Yay. We have a discussion from the village of Pittsburgh on real estate taxes. We're gonna do that this afternoon. We'll recess and reconvene at 1:30. So moving on, under the minutes.
I'll roll this.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we accept the July 14th, 2020 minutes.
Second.
Ron Ellis,
Yay.
Brent Gentry,
Yay.
Jim Marlowe.
And then it's time for the executive session. Now, do we have to vote on these individually?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we,
No. On the-
You guys have lumped them all
You
together.
can lump these together to keep them close.
Read them all. You read.
You read them all.
Read
Yeah.
them, we lump them.
That's what I was doing.
Together.
I'll make a motion that we accept the executive session minutes to keep them closed for May 4th, 2010, July 1, 2010, July 20, 2010, November 22nd, 2010, March 22nd, 2011, July 15, 2011, July 18, 2011, September 1, 2011, February 14th, 2012, January 8th, 2013, April 2nd, 2013, December 15th, 2014, January 21, 2015, March 22nd, 2017, May 24th, 2017, January 10th, 2018, February 13th, 2018, July 31st, 2019, and March 18th, 2020.
That'd be a drink, non-alcoholic.
Okay.
You need a
Uh,
second.
Oh, we gotta have
Second.
Oh,
Second.
Ron Ellis,
Yay.
Brent Gentry, Jim Marlowe.
Okay, now we're going to accept the reports, following the reports, Williamson County Clerk Vital Records for June, the Williamson County Clerk Mobile Home Trust for June, the Williamson County Clerk Fees Account for June, the Williamson County Clerk Real Estate Trust for June, the Williamson County Clerk, or Williamson County General Fund for June, and the Williamson County General Fund for July. All right, next we have resolutions. And, Amanda, did Mike and everything?
No, I'm still
Okay.
waiting
I
on
will check
one.
on that today.
Okay, if you would. Yeah, these are some polling places that we were needing to move for various reasons. One of them is the West Marion 2, which was at the Annex building over there. We're moving that to Falls Chapel Baptist Church. They're on Monroe Street. Blairsville 4 and 5 has been at the Heron Fire Department, and there's always been issues with parking there and everything. So the First United Methodist Church, which is just about a block away, they have a nice big family life center, and they're gonna let us use that. And then Heron 5, which is at the Housing Community Center, and Lake Creek 2 at the Masonic Temple in Johnson City. We're gonna move those to the Scout Cabin.
All right,
Hey, I'll make the, can we do them both together?
You could, yeah, it's just one resolution for all of them.
I make the motion to, for resolution number 20-08-11-48 and 49. To move the
It's
whole,
just 48, isn't it?
no, 49, second one.
No, 49 is something else. It's just
It
48.
sure is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion for resolution number 20-08-11-48 for moving the polling location.
I'll second that.
Ron Ellis, Bert Gentry,
Yay.
Jim Marlowe.
okay. All right. The next one is the resolution requesting consent of the county board to transfer out of the general fund salary expense saved by the voluntary furlough program.
Do we have an amount on that, or?
Yeah, it's on that second page.
It's on the second
Okay,
page.
all right. Then, I will make a motion
The total is
to,
$5,500.85.
for resolution 20-08-11-49, transfer out of general fund salary expense saved by volunteer furlough program for the grand total of $5,502.85.
I'll second that.
Ron Ellis,
Yay.
Bert Gentry,
Yay.
Jim Marlowe.
Okay. We have a sale to new owner, Leonard Weiderman Trust, 0530-452-036, and 037.
Second.
Ron Ellis,
Yay.
Bert Gentry,
Yay.
Jim Marlowe.
Okay.
Something, what's the Public Building Commission all about? We don't, yes, we got something on Public Building Commission, but it's
Yeah, it's
not
not
on,
on there.
it's on my, unless it's squeezed down on the,
No,
No.
it's not.
we need
To extend the conference for 15 minutes.
we can do that, we can do that.
We'll have another meeting very shortly, so, on another day. So,
That's not a big deal.
So,
I have something under other, and I want to, as one of the commissioners used to say, I want to get this in my brain because apparently my brain's pretty soft and I don't quite understand it. And this is about voting and all this craziness about, voting on mail, which is no different. My voting absentee, but whatever, that's not here to argue. So, Amanda, what did your office send out to people? Was it a question about a ballot, or did they send out ballots, or what?
No, we sent out a vote by mail application, and the reason we did that is because the governor